Let's talk about the story of Alex Duong. He was a comedian whose star was rising, and rising fast. He was right on the brink of everything he had ever worked for, but a sudden turn of fate rewrote his final chapter, shifting it from one of triumph to one of just incredible courage. See, by the top of 2025, Alex Duong was standing right on the edge of that massive career breakthrough, the one he had spent nearly 2 decades chasing. He had a national tour booked, top-tier collaborations lined up. I mean, this wasn't just another step up the ladder, this was the summit.
And then, just like that, a devastating diagnosis brought all of that momentum to a screeching halt. Suddenly, the story wasn't about professional triumph anymore. It became one about immense personal courage.
So who was the man at the center of the story? Well, if you've watched pretty much any TV in the last decade, you've probably seen Alex Duong's face, even if you didn't quite know his name. He had this really rare versatility. One minute, he's playing the super memorable criminal Sonny Leon on Blue Bloods, and the next, he's landing jokes on shows like Dexter and Everybody Hates Chris. But he wasn't just an actor. He was a seriously sharp comedic mind, writing for Netflix's historical roasts and holding his own on the absolutely brutal stage of Roast Battle.
What's really interesting about his journey, though, is that Hollywood was never the original plan. His story is one of a massive life pivot, a huge bet he made on himself, completely against the odds.
Get this, born in Dallas, the youngest of 6, Duong was actually on a path to a career in medicine. But he pulled a complete 180, chasing a dream in entertainment all the way out to Los Angeles. And he started by paying his dues in the most classic way possible, working the door at the legendary Comedy Store, which is basically getting a masterclass in comedy just by being in the room.
And all those years of grinding, of working the door, they were about to pay off, big time. By 2025, that big bet on himself was on the verge of a massive return. He wasn't just another working comedian anymore. He was becoming a headliner.
And think about this, he had a 41-state stand-up tour on the books. That's a huge undertaking, the kind of schedule that tells you you're truly arriving. He was even sharing the bill on some of those dates with The Daily Show's Ronnie Chiang. The industry was definitely taking notice. So the really crucial point here is that this wasn't just another tour, it was the culmination of almost 2 decades of hard work. And like this quote says, the industry knew what was being built, which made its loss feel that much more profound. But right at the peak of his climb, his life took this tragic turn. And it all started with a single symptom. You know, something you'd notice but never in a million years imagined could be the start of something so devastating. It was his manager who first noticed a swollen eye back in early 2025. A doctor's visit led to the crushing diagnosis, alveolar rhabdomyosarcoma. It's an incredibly rare and aggressive cancer, and in his case it came from a malignant tumor growing right behind his optic nerve. And what followed was just an unimaginable battle. He lost vision completely in his left eye, went through these punishing rounds of chemotherapy and radiation, and fought through excruciating pain as the cancer spread to his spine. The disease was just relentless. But as Alex fought this private battle, the community he had spent his life building showed up for him in a massive way. And it really proved that the world of comedy isn't just a profession, it's a family. So in August 2025, top comedians like Ronnie Chiang and Atsuko Okasuka packed the Largo in Los Angeles for a benefit show. And with the dark humor that's so unique to their craft, they gave it a title that only comedians would ever dare to use. And beyond the stage, a GoFundMe was set up to help his family with the crushing weight of lost income and medical bills. The response was just overwhelming, with the community raising over $103,000. It was a financial lifeline that let them focus on what truly mattered during an impossible time. And this quote from Alex himself perfectly captures that spirit. He was absolutely floored by the support, and he recognized that beautiful unspoken bond that comedians share, a bond that's forged in the struggle of the craft. In his final moments on March 28, 2026, Duong passed away from septic shock. He was surrounded by loved ones, and, thankfully, he was alert enough to say a final goodbye to his young daughter. He is survived by his wife Christina, who was just a hero, caring for him and their daughter while working full-time, and his beloved 5-year-old Everest. In the end, Alex Duong's story is about so much more than a career cut tragically short. It's a powerful reminder of how a community's love can become a person's lasting legacy. It proves that what we leave behind isn't just a list of credits, but the impact we have on the people right there beside us.